E nós estamos de volta com essas duas pessoas maravilhosas aqui hoje nos dando a entrevista, nos concedendo todo esse aprendizado. E eu tive uma experiência pessoal no consultório, onde eu tive a oportunidade de atender uma moça que ela vivia um relacionamento abusivo, e esse relacionamento abusivo não era só em questão a cônjuge, era também com amizades, e era inclusive com ela mesma. O que aconteceu? Quando ela era pequena, tinha um garotinho que ficava irritando, importunando, né, fazendo pequenas armaçõezinhas para que ela ficasse irritada. E a mãe dela tinha falado que ele fazia isso porque ele gostava dela. Então ela criou um padrão de comportamento e foi determinado naquele momento que as pessoas que gostam de mim me tratam desse jeito. E ela replicou isso a vida dela inteira. E é justamente essa minha pergunta para o Dr. Stephen: como são formados esses padrões de comportamento?
What most people don't realize is that from the moment we're conceived, for instance, within 24 hours of conception, before the egg is even divided, it responds differently to the mother's voice than any other voice. So there's a coding even in the womb and during the pregnancy that's impacting on the fetus. During the first 3 years of life after birth, we don't really have language, maybe into the 4th year or so. But our unconscious mind is putting things together in categories. So for instance, if a young child, it could be 6 months old, a year or two, the father comes home every night and he's drunk and he's screaming and yelling and he beats up the mother, and then they fight, and the next morning they make up, and that becomes a category of this must be love. Now, consciously you'd say, well, I know that's not, but it's embedded in the unconscious mind, so your conscious mind doesn't develop awareness until you're 5, 6, 7, 8, and actually full consciousness doesn't occur until we're 25. So there's a huge amount of coding of experiencing or miscoding of experiences that is controlling our life. So the person may say to me, I don't understand, this is my 3rd marriage, and they all look different, but everyone is abusive and an alcoholic. How does that happen? Because deep in the unconscious mind, this was what was labeled love. And it really means needs the use of Ericksonian hypnosis to travel with the client into that experience where they redefine it in the unconscious mind. And the nice thing is all you need is 1 degree of change. If you get 1 degree of change, 1 new possibility, a different way of looking at it. I would never say to the client, well, that's not love. I want the client to say to me, my mother and father lived that way, but that's not love. Because once they say that to me, they don't resist it. Mm-hmm. And then that change has started in the unconscious mind, and everything has to adjust according to that. So we have most of our lives being determined by things before we had consciousness that are put in incorrect categories, or where there's not enough information because our learning is interrupted. We need more information to make better decisions in the unconscious.
Perfeito. Perfeito. Obrigada. Renê, eu gostaria que você falasse um pouco dessa sua missão, né, que mudou também a sua trajetória profissional, e que divulgasse o Instituto.
Nós já estamos aqui no Brasil há 7 anos.
Tá.
A nossa missão é realmente formar profissionais que queiram aprender a hipnose ericksoniana para trabalhar com seus clientes. O nosso foco é psicólogo, terapeutas, médicos, pessoal da área da saúde que queira aprender a metodologia de Erickson, Nós estamos aqui em São Paulo, na Vila Mariana. Nosso site é www.actinstitute.org. É um programa de aproximadamente 2 anos, que são modulares. E vocês que são da área da saúde e querem aprender uma técnica realmente para potencializar o processo de cura, sejam bem-vindos. Será um prazer ter vocês lá conosco na nossa formação.
E agora a gente vai saber por que a hipnose é tão interessante para o Dr. Stephen Paul Adler.
A number of years ago, about 30 years ago, so my wife had been diagnosed with cancer, and she too was a psychoanalyst, and after about 6 months she said, I'd like us to go into joint therapy to deal with the medical profession and the chemotherapy and everything else. And I felt we were handling it very well, and she said something that changed my life. She said, yes, I expect to win the battle with my cancer, but if I don't, I want us to be connected into my very last breath. Mm-hmm. And I'm automatically, she said, beginning to protect you in case I lose the battle. And I can feel you're protecting me and you too. So I said, okay, I have 2 requirements. I don't care what the background is of the therapist, but they have to be just smart enough to catch us playing games, because this is a very difficult transition for us. And they have to have had somebody die that they love recently and they've processed it, because I don't want to be with somebody who's afraid of you dying, because there are things that they have to say. And she said, okay, I'll look. Within 2 hours, she said, we have an appointment tomorrow. So I suspect that maybe she had done some looking beforehand. And it happened to be Jane Parsons Fine, who is a very well-known Ericksonian hypnotherapist who was trained by Erickson. My wife was alive for 5 more years without any pain and so on. She worked up until the last 6 months. And then when she died, I decided that I really wanted to grieve, because if you don't grieve, you go into post-traumatic stress. Mm-hmm. And so I stayed with Jane, and I was talking about my feelings and about grieving and the loss, because we had been married over 20 years. But things I had accepted about myself, and I had been in so many types of therapy, started to change. And I remember saying to Jane one day, we're not even talking about this other stuff. I just accepted, yeah, that sometimes I can be a little stubborn, but the stubbornness is disappearing. And she said, that's because you're in Ericksonian hypnotherapy. And we're talking to your unconscious mind, and you're becoming who you were meant to become. And that's when I said, I'm going to study it. And I immersed myself. I eventually taught for the group that trained me. Jane Parsons Fine set up her own training in Satir family work and Ericksonian work, and I worked with her for 3 years with that. And recently, I'm very happy to say, and this may surprise you too, that 1 year ago, after 50 years in New York City, I moved to Sao Paulo permanently. Because Erickson's work is most alive in Brazil, and the most interest comes from Brazil, and our trainings were growing, and the students, they really needed somebody who wasn't flying in and out, because many people come to train other people and then they disappear, and then when you have trouble, there's nobody to ask a question, there's nobody to help you learn how to integrate it in a different way. And Eduardo had said to me, we're growing, but you're the heart of the Institute. I think he's the brains and the heart too, but because he handles everything that makes me look good, and the digital world. And that's when I said, and it was interesting for me, because all my friends said, how can you go and live in Brazil and you don't speak the language, and you 50 years in New York and so on. So I used self-hypnosis and went deeply into trance and really tried to have a felt sense of, should I do that? And when I say a felt sense is that something in my body would tell me, is this the right decision for me to make? Because I could intellectually make lists or listen to my friends. And my voice came to me that just said, your time in New York is over. And the energy in your life is in Brazil. And I really do feel and have committed myself that the next generation of Ericksonian hypnotherapists are going to be here in Brazil, and they will take over the training of the next generations and next generations. And Betty Alice used to say, the one thing that my father wanted is for his work to stay alive and to evolve and to go further. And she felt that Brazil was the most exciting and responsive country in all the places she traveled to spread his work. So a year ago I moved here, and it's so interesting when I put my full energy here, so many options opened up and so many opportunities. And that's the same with the client. When they have their release, and that's what Erickson's work does, it helps you remove the blocks that stop your life energy from flowing. And you do that with the therapist. It's not done for you. And so it empowers you, and when these blocks are removed, your life energy flows and you can become who you were meant to become. And so I'm here in Brazil, and very curious. I don't know, but I'm curious to know how I will evolve in Brazil.
Uau! Uau! Nós não somos seres racionais, nós somos seres emocionais. E ele acaba de contar essa história que foi uma decisão totalmente emocional e com certeza grandes coisas o aguardam. Eu estou muito honrada em recebê-los aqui, eu agradeço mais uma vez. E a hipnose ericksoniana é muito efetiva, como eles disseram, é uma forma indireta, né, de ressignificar, e o paciente vai passando por esse processo conforme ele suporta essa mudança. Então nada é imposto, nada é determinado pelo hipnoterapeuta, pelo hipnotista. É sempre no ritmo e no respeito em relação ao paciente, ao cliente, né, que eu costumo chamar todo mundo de paciente, né, gente? Então, eu vou ficando por aqui. Eu agradeço também a sua atenção e eu espero você no nosso próximo programa. E você sabia que existem vários tipos de hipnose? Sim, existe a hipnose clássica, a hipnose de palco, que é chamada entretenimento, existe a hipnose terapêutica, e dentre todas elas, existe uma em específico que se chama hipnose ericksoniana. E como que a gente sabe a diferença de uma e de outra? Através da técnica utilizada. Embora todas elas cheguem num estado de transe, o transe hipnótico, a condução é diferente. E hoje a gente fala um pouco mais sobre a hipnose ericksoniana. Eu vou chamar dois convidados que são muito importantes para mim e eles vão falar um pouco melhor sobre esse assunto e vão falar processo pessoal que também passaram. E eu tenho um carinho especial porque eu também vivi esse processo. A primeira vez que eu tive contato com a hipnose foi através da técnica ericksoniana. Então, fiquem aqui comigo para descobrir cada vez mais e melhor esse conteúdo maravilhoso desse universo fantástico que é a hipnose.